Hello, welcome back! This is a continuation of our last video where we created this tilting mirror in Inventor. This time we're going to create it in Autodesk Inventor Fusion 360. You'll find that the two softwares are very similar, so lots of the steps that we took in our last video we're going to be repeating here. So, here we've got the completed model in Fusion 360. We've got a base, we've got a frame, and we've got two mirror planes. So, let's get to it. We'll expand out our data panel first to make sure that we're in the right folder. And here we've got the completed tilting mirror, and we're going to create a new design. So to create a new design, we'll come to File, click New Design, and now we can create a design. I'm just going to minimize the data panel by clicking that X. Okay, we're going to make the first part, which is the frame. So we'll start by creating a plane on the XY plane by creating Sketch, XY plane. And now we'll click under Create, click under Rectangle, and pick Center Rectangle. Click the origin, and now we're going to use the tab to select 2. Prescribe the width as 109 millimeters and height as 126 millimeters. Great. Next, we'll click Finish Sketch, and now we're going to extrude it, not in one direction or the other direction. We're going to extrude it in both directions. So we'll come to Direction, and we'll pick Symmetric. And for the measurement, we'll take whole length. And now the width from memory is 6.25. Right. Okay, so there we've got the start. We'll go ahead and we're going to add in a fillet by clicking F or clicking the fillet icon. And then we'll click this one, this one, this one, and this one. And we're going to drag those in at 25 millimeters. Good stuff, good stuff. The next thing that we'll model are these little tiered arms on the side. So we'll start off simple, we'll come along, create 2D sketch, and we'll make a sketch on the side there, and we're going to do 2 circles. We'll just make them arbitrary size. The first circle we are going to make tangential to the edge there, so it's the right size. And this inner circle, we're going to give it a diameter of 6.15 millimeters. Looking good, so 2 distinct circles. Alright, we'll click Finish Sketch, and now we're going to go ahead and we're going to extrude both of them 1.7 millimeters in that direction. Good stuff. We're going to reuse the sketch by expanding out sketches, clicking the little eyeball next to sketch 2, and now we're going to extrude this inner profile. Now, sometimes in Fusion 360, you want to select a profile or a face that's hiding behind another face. There's a bit of a trick to this. If you hover your mouse over a surface, click and hold the mouse, you'll get this little list. I'll do that again. You hover your mouse over the area, click your mouse and hold it, and then you can click the profile behind it. Very useful. Okay, great. We're going to grab that inner profile there, and we're going to extrude it out a total of 4.25 millimeters. Now, we're not going to do a cut operation. We're going to make it a join operation. Yeah, looking good, looking good. Okay, next what we're going to do is we are going to make the ovular smoothing fillets around the edge. So to do that, what we're going to do is first make a construction plane so that we can draw the ovals. So to do that, we'll come to Construct, and we'll click Plane Along a Path, click this upper edge here, and now we can choose some arbitrary position along here. Honestly, it doesn't matter all too much. Oh, just don't double click it. There we go. We'll pick it as long as it's on this flat edge here. That'll do. And we'll say 50 millimeters. Good. Okay. Now, we're going to go and make a sketch on that plane. We'll click Sketch, pick the plane, and in Fusion 360, if you're in a sketch mode, you can click the Slice button and it will hide the geometry up to that slice plane. Now, it can be a little bit hard to see here, so I'll try to make it obvious. We are going to draw 2 ellipses. So we'll click one here of arbitrary size and position, and another here. And we'll start off by making positions clear. So we're going to add in dimensions. So hit the D button or hit the dimension icon up here. And we're going to put a distance from the edge to that center point, 7.5 millimeters. Same with the lower ellipse. Great. And we'll do the same vertically. So bottom edge to the center. So we'll say 2.25. And center point there to the upper, 2.25. Great. And last step, we want to make the ovals tangential to the top and side. So we'll say tangent, pick the oval, and then pick the oval twice and pick the edges. There we go. 1, 2, great. So I'll highlight them so they're a little bit easier to see. We've got 2 ovals that are positioned with dimensions and tangential to the edges. These 2 profiles are the ones that are going to be cut when we're making our ovular fillet. So we'll click Finish Sketch. And now we can go ahead and we can say Create, Sweep, choose the profiles. I'll pick them manually so that we can practice hovering the mouse, clicking and holding the mouse, and picking the profile. Pick both the ovular profiles, pick the path, which is in this case our upper edge here, and make sure that a cut operation is chosen. Okay, so it's looking good in terms of the ovular, but now we've got a problem with our arm here. So we're going to extrude both of these surfaces, 1, 2, and we could just click and drag them into the material. Let's see if we can get lucky and say to object, that face there. Nope, it's going to screw up on us, that's okay. We're going to say distance, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to say -10 millimeters, and we'll make it a join operation. So it's going to add material. Great, wonderful, that's looking good. Okay, we're going to hide that sketch by clicking the eyeball next to sketch 2. Okay, so looking pretty good, pretty good. We want to mirror this arm onto the other side. I don't want to go through all the steps again, so we're going to use a mirroring operation. We'll first come to origin, and we're going to make visible the plane that cuts this in two. So we'll come to, here we go, the YZ plane, and we'll click the little icon next to it and click here, the icon, the eyeball icon next to origin. There we go, and we'll just make sure that it's on. There we go, great. All right, so next we'll come along to create, and we'll click mirror, and we'll pick the features that make up this little arm here. So we'll come along, if you find on the timeline, we can see we've got extrude 2 and extrude 3. Those will do. Oh, and also extrude 4, because that makes up the body. So we'll pick those, extrude 2, extrude 3, extrude 4, and we'll choose the mirror plane and pick that bisecting plane. We could choose faces, bodies, features, components. I'm going to choose features. And try that again. 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, it wants to be complicated. That's okay. We'll go ahead and just do a mirror with the faces. So come along here, we'll say mirror, and we'll pick the faces of these 3 features. 1, 2, 3. And we'll pick mirror plane. There we go. Oh, and I see that I accidentally created 2 mirrors. I'll just select and delete that previous one. Great. Okay, so we've got the origin. We'll hide the origin. And now we've nearly got the frame complete. We'll go ahead and we'll create a sketch on this surface here. And we're going to project that surface. And we're going to also offset, here we go, -9 millimeters. So we've got 2 profiles. Great. So the first one that we'll do is we're going to extrude. We'll grab the center profile, and we're going to extrude it all the way through both sides so that it's just a cut that goes all the way through our frame. And next, we'll make the sketch visible again by coming under Sketches and clicking Sketch 4, the eyeball. And we'll click Extrude, and we'll pick that profile there. And we're going to extrude 1.5 millimeters into the material. So 1.5. Great. And next, we'll hide, no, we're going to keep that sketch. We're going to repeat the extrusion process. We'll grab the same profile, but this time we're going to change the start from the profile plane to this. We'll click Object, and we'll click this upper face here. So now we're performing that cut from that face. And now we'll repeat it with a 1.5 millimeter extrusion. Good, and then we'll hide sketch 4. Great, and that's our frame. I could make it into a glass. Let's do it. Let's go make it. We'll come along here, modify, and we'll change the physical material into something a little bit more realistic. We'll come along here to plastic, and we'll see if we can find something. Acrylic. There's acrylic clear. Let's go with let's go with acrylic clear. We'll click and drag it onto that. Oh, it's a bit too clear, just like the Inventor model. Let's see what PET plastic looks like. PMA. Tell you what, let's just go with plastic so that we can see it. Wonderful. Okay, So let's go ahead and we're going to save that and we're going to call it frame. Wonderful. Next, we'll make the two mirror panes that will go into here. So we'll come along to new. Actually, tell you what. No. We'll do it as separate components and then bring it into an assembly. This is called bottom-up modeling. All right, so it's a little bit more work, but I'm convinced it's a bit more scalable. More on that in another video. Yes, absolutely. We'll come along here. We'll say rectangle, center point rectangle, and we are going to put in the dimensions of our inner pane. And I have forgotten what they are, so let's go ahead and measure them. You can measure in Fusion 360 by clicking the I button and picking one plane here and one pane here. So we've got 111 tall and oops, let's choose that one there and that one there. 94 wide. So 94 by 111. Great. Cool. And let's go ahead and measure the radius here. 17.5, great. So we'll go ahead and extrude this out first, 1.5 mil. And we will give it a radius on each of these corners. Looking good, looking good. So 17.5. I think that was it. Was that it? Let's find out. 17.5, lovely, great. Okay, cool. And this one we actually will make glass. We'll change the physical material and we'll come along to glass. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, it's very, very transparent. So we'll say glass, was it mirror one? Let's see if we can modify that one face. We're not going to give it too much time. It's just a tutorial. Let's see if we can find it. Mirror. There we go. We can click and drag mirror onto that surface. Lovely. Great. Okay, mirror one, and tell you what, we're going to make a copy of this for mirror two. So to do that, we'll go ahead and open the data panel. We'll grab mirror one, and we'll say right click, copy, and we're going to copy it into this folder. So we'll say copy, and it's got the same name, so we're going to rename it, and we'll call it mirror two. While we're in town, it's always good practice to open up, and make sure that when we go to right-click mirror 2 at the top here, we come to properties, and we should be able to see, make sure that the part number here is mirror 2, not mirror 1. That's if you make a parts list later. It's very, very useful. Okay, so let's go, and we're going to make the final component. So we're going to make this base here. So it's fairly straightforward. Let's go ahead, we'll make a new design, and we'll make a sketch on the front plane there. And we'll go ahead and make 3 lines in space, and we'll give them some constraints to direct them. So we'll make these 2 lines equal. And we're going to use coincident, no, in Fusion it's a midpoint constraint. So this triangle is the midpoint constraint. We'll click midpoint constraint, pick this line here, and choose the origin. That just positions it about the origin. We'll go ahead and we'll give it a width of 117.5 mil and a height of 82 mil. There we go. Lovely. We'll go and we'll finish this off with a nice fillet, modify fillet, and we'll say that this fillet here between this edge here and that edge there is 13.75. And ordinarily, oops, go back to the sketch. Ordinarily, I don't like doing fillets at the sketch level, but this is just a quick model. So we'll say modify fillet, book, and again, 13.75. Looking good. Okay. And it says that we've lost our constraints. We've lost our midpoint constraints. That's okay. We will reconstruct it. We have the technology. So we'll come along here, choose midpoint, pick that center line there, and the origin. Looking good. Okay. And next we'll go ahead and we'll offset it so that we can prescribe a thickness. Ooh, that's interesting. It shouldn't be making an offset all around. Is this a new technology? Let's try and wow. That must be a new feature. Tell you what, we'll just go ahead and we'll make an offset like that, negative 2.55 millimeters, and we'll trim this crazy circular bit at the top. There we go. Great. And we'll go ahead and we'll close off that profile using little lines at the top. and just make sure that we put in 2.55 millimeters. And we seem to have lost our equals constraint as well. We'll go ahead and we'll add in another equals constraint between these, this edge here and this edge here. We seem to have a rogue line in there. I'll delete it. Tell you what, I'll leave it in there for now. All right, finish sketch. And let's go ahead and we're going to extrude. Oh, I can't do the wrong thing. Let's go ahead and delete the rogue line and repair that. So we'll come along here, pick that rogue line, delete it, and we're going to add in the vertical constraint with that edge that's missing. And it seems like a vertical constraint was missing there as well. There we go, lovely. Finish the sketch, and now we're going to extrude this out both sides. So we'll hit extrude, and it's going to be a total of 33.25 millimeters. We're going to change the direction so that it's symmetric, and that 33.25 represents the whole width by clicking there. Click OK. And now we're going to cut out this profile here. This is going to be a bit inexact, but we'll try our best. We'll create a sketch on the side there, and we're going to draw two circles concentric, and that outer circle is going to be tangential to the top, and it's going to be vertically aligned. Where are we? Vertically aligned. No, right, it's vertical and horizontal with the origin. So it's positioned there. Great. We're going to make the top diameter 15 millimeters and the inner diameter 6.15 millimeters. Great. We'll go and we're going to make a few lines. So we'll make a straight line there. If you click and drag, if you've got the line tool selected and you click and drag on the edge of a circle, you can make a straight line tangential to that circle. So we've got our two straight lines. We'll go ahead and make them both equal. Looking good. So no angles have been prescribed, just the distances. And we're going to draw two arcs on each side. There's a couple of ways of doing the same thing, but I'm just going to do them with a set of two arcs. So we'll say one arc there, and another arc here. Looking good. Do it again. Looking good. Do it again. Looking good. And we'll go ahead and add in a bunch of tangential constraints. We can see one was inferred there. We'll make these two arcs tangential and this straight line and this arc tangential. Repeat the same on the other side, so everything's nice and tangential. Next, we'll go ahead and we'll make them equal in size. So make an equal constraint between the left and the right. Oh no, it blew up. Hopefully it doesn't blow up too badly. That's okay, we'll hit undo twice. Undo is totally an underrated thing. There we go. We'll go ahead and we will, tell you what, we'll make these horizontally aligned, these lower points. And these 2 points will make horizontally aligned as well. And we're going to make them equal to each. Let's try and just do it slowly. We'll say 32 millimeters. Okay, let's try here, 32 millimeters. Great, great. Nice and slow does it. Nice and slow. Make both sides equal. It doesn't want to play ball. I'm sure it can do it. We did it on the other one. Tell you what, maybe we're just giving it a bit too much homework. We'll make that 24 for this one. And tell you what, we'll fix the angle of these two edges. We'll give it not too much to think about. So we'll say 72 millimeters. Nope, too much. We'll say undo, and we'll say 80 millimeters. That looks better. Same on the other side. 80 millimeters. I can't solve for 80 millimeters. Something's gone terribly, terribly wrong. Tell you what, let's just get rid of those. And we're going to keep what's important. There we go. We'll make the arcs again. Anything with curves, always a pain. There we go. Everything should be straight lines. Boxes. The world should be boxes. There we go. Tangent. Tangential. There we go. Looking good. Wonderful. Good, 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 good. Okay. And we'll go ahead and as we did before, we'll make them equal. Hopefully they don't blow up on us again. Yay! And we'll make them 32 millimeters. Oh! It's all working out! Oh! This is beautiful! Wonderful! Great! And we'll go ahead and we'll just give it some arbitrary distance there, 32 millimeters. Looking good! We got there in the end! Yeah! Okay. We'll project the outside just in case it doesn't. And we'll click Finish Sketch. And we're going to extrude these profiles all the way through everything as a cut. There we go. Great. Beautiful. Okay. Ooh, is that it? No, we've got the legs. I forgot the legs for the previous one. Oh, I'll have to add them in later. Okay. We'll add the legs in now. Don't tell anyone I failed that. Okay. So here we'll come along and we'll say point along a path. Now, I'll tell you what. We will actually make it at the origin. That'll be easier. Origin, we'll say sketch on that plane there. And we're going to choose 2 legs here. So we'll come along 2-point rectangle. 1, 2. And we'll make them equal in their dimensions. Yep, nice and easy. And the legs are 6.5 millimeters wide. And 1.5 millimeters tall. Great. And they get extruded both sides symmetrically for a whole length of 87 millimeters. Hey, and before you freak out and say that they don't look anything like the real legs, we'll go ahead and we'll add in some chamfers. Who doesn't love a good chamfer? Straight lines, no curves. We'll go ahead and we'll pick these edges. 1, 2. Is that how again? I'm pretty sure that's how it went. Great. 3, 4. And we'll say 1.5. Yeah, that looks good. And now we've got legs on this thing. I'll go ahead and add them into the other video. We'll come along and we'll give it some material. So what did we decide for the other frame? It was like a plastic. Yeah, we just went with plastic because that was more visible. Great. Okay, so plastic. Great. All right, so we're going to make a bottom-up assembly. We'll save this one first. We'll call it base. Join. Oh, oops. Save. Okay, and we're going to make a new design. And this is going to be our tilted mirror assembly. Tilt mirror assembly. Great. All right. Now this time we're going to click and drag the components we've already made. So we'll grab our base, we'll throw it in, click OK. And we're going to ground it in space. So we'll expand it out, we'll grab body 1 and we'll grab base 1 and we'll click ground. We'll drag in our frame and don't worry too much about its initial positioning, we will fix it. We'll say join here. And we're going to join with hit the J button or this joint button here and click that circle on the end and the circle on the end here. If you need to pick the circle and you can't quite pick it, you can hover over the face and hold down Control and it will snap to it. There we go. And we want to say that it can rotate around it, so we'll come to the Motion tab and click Revolute. Looking good. Good stuff. Okay, and the last bit is to add in the 2 mirrors. So mirror 1, looking good, and mirror 2. So just for clarity later, we'll use these handles to rotate it in space. Looking good. And using joints, we are going to click this top point here and this point in here, and we're going to make them rigidly connected. So come to Motion, Rigid, and click OK. And we'll pick the other side as well. Joint. Boop. And then in there. Looking good. Hey, we got there in the end. We'll hide the joints by clicking the eyeball icon next to it. So here we've got the model in Fusion 360. In another video, we'll learn how to make some drawings. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And yeah, please follow, share it if you learned something. I hope you had fun. See you next time. Bye.